Nation Newry broadcasting to the world on this Friday morning, the 28th of February. February's gone, for goodness sake, and now we're heading into March. I have the greatest of joy to welcome into Studio One Edel Livingstone, who's a specialist nurse in the organ donation department of Craigavon Area Hospital. And you're one of a number of nurses, Edel, throughout Northern Ireland who work in this role in different health trust areas. Is that the way it operates?
Yes, that's correct. I'm employed by the National Health Service, Blood and Transplant, as a specialist nurse for organ donation. There's a team of 16 staff in the Northern Ireland Organ Donation Services team. That would include specialist nurses, a dedicated administration team, and 2 team managers as well. Each of the nurses, the specialist nurses for organ donation, are attached to the acute hospitals here within Northern Ireland, and I myself am attached to the intensive care unit within the Southern Trust, which is the Craigavon Area Hospital.
Have we anyone like you at Daisy Hill Hospital in Newry?
Daisy Hill would be the only hospital within Northern Ireland that doesn't have an intensive care unit. However, because my post covers the Southern,
you would be called there
Trust,
as well.
Yes, I would also attend Daisy Hill as well.
So Edel, your first duty in the A&E department where you work is to restore the casualty to good health. That's the first thing you're trying to do.
Yes, that would be the role of the medics and the nurses within the emergency department and within the intensive care units throughout all areas in Northern Ireland, obviously to try and save a patient's life. I would become involved at the end of life when it is apparent that the patient can no longer survive or that end of life is imminent. It would be at that point that I would be contacted and be involved in the care of the family.
Yeah, and at what point, for instance, in Northern Ireland last year, how many organ donation events would have occurred?
Approximately 40 patients would have been have proceeded to become organ donors in the last year. If I can just obviously maybe even highlight from the Southern Trust, there's been huge improvements in the service within the Southern Trust from April 2011 to December 2010. 14 patients went on to become organ donors from the Trust, and that covers both Daisy Hill and the intensive care unit in Craigavon, and that transpired to 45 organs being retrieved for transplantation and 40 recipients receiving life-saving operations.
Great. And we've whacked the business of incompatibility, have we, largely? There isn't an issue any longer of John's organ not being suitable for Patrick's organ or whatever.
Yes, the assessment of suitability is carried out by the transplant surgeons. So various tests are carried out, various blood tests, in order to ensure that the potential organ for transplantation is matched to the most appropriate recipient.
And it's, if you like, it's the last important job that a man or woman can do in his or her life.
I mean, organ donation obviously is very powerful. It truly is the gift of life. I mean, it can enhance and save the lives of recipients, and indeed change the lives of the recipients' families across Northern Ireland.
And we're talking about what? We're talking kidneys?
Yes, it's possible to donate your kidneys.
Liver?
Your liver, yes.
Lungs?
That's correct, lungs.
Heart?
Heart.
Eyes?
That's correct, yes.
What else?
Pancreas.
Your pancreas?
Your pancreas, possibly your small bowel as well. And here within Northern Ireland we would also transplant heart valves. So that would be for children that have...
We're talking the natural heart valves here, not the artificial heart valves.
No, obviously.
So the heart valves, there's 4 heart valves.
Yes, that's correct.
So you can separate the heart.
Those valves can be used...
You can get 4 valves out of a heart, or you can use a heart intact.
That's correct. The heart can be used for transplantation, but also the valves of the heart are possible to be used for people, and I suppose especially children that maybe have diseased valves or malformed valves.
And is it, in those situations, is it necessary to be a child's valve to a child, or can an adult valve do a child?
Sometimes, I mean, that can change. That is possible. It doesn't necessarily need to be a child's organ donation matched
because
to another child.
There'll be natural ongoing growth, I suppose, within things. Now, if I'm there in a situation where I've been traumatized, where I'm a victim, at what point, two things, at what point do you and your team recognize that I'm not going to survive? And at what point do I, lying there under the light of the table, recognize that I am not going to survive?
If a patient was brought to the emergency department or the intensive care unit, for example, of any of the hospitals within Northern Ireland, it will be a decision made by the critical care team of when it has become apparent that it is no longer possible to sustain life.
And Edel, what makes it apparent? What are the tests to make sure life is gone?
There's two different types of possibilities. For example, some of the information might highlight the possibility of brainstem death. That's when there's been such severe injury has occurred to the brain that life is no longer, that the patient will no longer survive. So a series of tests are carried out in the intensive care unit by highly skilled clinicians to confirm that death has occurred.
God help us, we hear the siren of the ambulance going past, and we can only hope that whoever's involved there will survive and do well.
Indeed.
So the tests are totally conclusive, are they, these tests?
They're totally conclusive.
Yeah. I'll not
totally
ask you to go into what the tests are, but total conclusive evidence that because if a person is traumatized substantially in the brain,
yes,
the ability to think, the cognitive end of the brain thing is no longer functioning. So I'm not able to sort of know that I'm about to give my heart.
No, the patient wouldn't be risable at this point.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. How many people have we? You know, we're in the middle of the campaign now to get more donors. I know that 90-something% of people don't give blood. How many of us do give our organs? How many of us have signed up and carry the card?
Yes. The Public Health Agency carried out some research in the summer of last year just to look at public attitudes here within Northern Ireland. And their findings showed that 31% of the population here in Northern Ireland have joined the National Health Service Organ Donor Register.
It's high, isn't it?
Well, just 31%.
Yeah, 31%. It's not bad.
They thought that was quite low because during the survey of the public, they found that over 80%, almost 84% of the public here in Northern Ireland were supportive of organ donation. However, that hadn't translated. That hadn't translated to the organ donor register. So now, in the midst of the campaign, we're hoping that we can encourage people, to speak up, to speak to their family, to share their wishes with their family that they'd like to be an organ donor, and to join the organ donor register.
Of course. It's a huge, as I say, it's the last great job you can do in life, to give someone else life. And what are the questions that you're most often asked about it? About donation, about people who are thinking about it. What are they concerned about?
Questions from a family.
From a family when you meet them?
When myself or any of my colleagues as specialist nurses would meet families, obviously we meet them at a highly emotional and very difficult time.
Do you have to broach the subject with them?
Yes, so we would approach the family in order to provide them with information at that very difficult time about organ donation to ensure that they're making informed decisions.
At that point, have they already been told by other clinicians that their loved one has gone?
Yes, they would have been told that death has been confirmed or that death is imminent. Yes, they would. And then it would be following that conversation that we as specialist nurses would then give them the option of organ donation at end of life care.
Now, imminent can mean a number of things. It can mean in the next second, or it can mean in the next month.
Yes.
And I'm a member of a family. I said to you, what does imminent mean? And if the person's going to linger for a month, be there for a month, then the family might say in some way, well, if they can last a month, maybe they can last 6 months. Maybe we'll have some hope. Do these questions come to you as well?
No. When a suggested death is imminent, it would be apparent that a patient can no longer survive without the support that they're receiving in the intensive care unit. For example, support from a breathing machine, or support from drugs which are currently supporting levels of blood pressure, for example. So those patients would unlikely survive for more than a few hours or days.
But the person must be alive when you take the organ.
No.
No. So the death. No. That's misinformation. I thought that always the person had to still be at this side of the divide before you can take the organ successfully. But the person is dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
In most cases, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the other thing that people might be frightened of course, in the last moments of life, you're lying there and you're going to be operated on for something. Is it going to be traumatic for you? Is it going to be, for you, the person who's donating, is it necessary to use anesthesia with the person? Or are we gone way beyond that?
We're gone way beyond that.
Yeah.
We're gone way beyond that.
Okay. How's the campaign going at the moment?
Very successfully. I think the Public Health Agency had shared with us that there's been quite a lot of views to their website, and I mean in the first week over 400 people joined the organ donor register from the start of the campaign.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's fantastic. And young or old, you can do it.
Young or old, age isn't a barrier. By any means. Patients in their 70s and 80s have gone on to successfully donated their organs for transplantation.
Wonderful. So how do people contact you?
Well, people can contact the organ donor register, for example, by phoning the telephone number, which is 0.
We'll write this down because people will want to. You've got a pencil or a piece of paper or whatever, and you can do this in whatever country in the world, I'm sure, where you're viewing at the moment. We have people all over the planet watching just now. So the number is, this is a UK number.
This is the UK number.
UK number coming. Okay.
03
03
00
00
123
123
23
23
23.
23. That's as easy as it gets. 03 00 123 2323. That's it. And is there a website?
Yes, it's also possible to go on to the website, which is www.organdonationni
.info. That's as good as it gets.
And you're able to join online via the information website.
Okay. I wish you well, Edel.
Thank you very much.
And we're blessed to have you doing the work you do. It's not easy work because you've got to deal with people at a critical time in their lives.
It's not easy work, but maybe if I could just summarise in the words of a donor family who said that it is so powerful to be able to give life and hope to others, to give a miracle following the death of their loved one.
To give a miracle after the death of your loved one. What an amazing thing. Namaste. Go well. Take care.
Thank you.
Some music, sir.